Hi, I'm Kelly from Kelly J Jewellery. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make these earrings. I've put a list in the description below of everything you'll need to make them, along with a Facebook link and a link to my Etsy shop where I've got all my PDF tutorials if anybody's interested in those, and all my finished jewellery. So thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for all your support over on Facebook and on YouTube. To make these earrings you'll need 0.8mm wire, that's 20 gauge, and I've cut 4 lengths at 10 inches, that's 26 centimetres. I'm going to be using square wire today, but you can use round if you like. Weaving wire is 0.315mm, that's 28 gauge, and you'll need approximately 400 centimetres. I've wound mine onto a bobbin, but you can cut lengths as you go if you prefer. You'll need 2 small, mine are teardrop cabs, and these are 12mm by 8. If you don't have these, you could use little round ones, and they don't have to be this size. You could use ones that are slightly bigger if you like. And you'll need 2 3mm beads and 2 ear wires. Tools, we'll need pliers, round nose pliers and wire cutters. I think that's everything. Let's get started. So we're going to start right in the centre of the wires. So that's 5 inches from the beginning of the wires. I'm going to start with 3 wraps around the bottom wire. And I'm going to go around all of the wires. About 5 times. I'm going to go around that bottom one 3 times. Oops. Take this top wire, get your round nose pliers, I'm going to gently bend it right the way around those pliers. So you end up with a nice circle shape on the top there. And I'm going to level my wires back up. And I'll go around all of the wires again, another 5 times. And then 3 times around that bottom wire. Trim off that weaving wire. So I said at the beginning you're going to need 4 wires. You're going to need 8 because we're making 2 earrings. Not a very good start to my video. So go and cut another 4. I'll change it on the writing at the beginning. And then take the other 4 wires and do exactly the same as this. So you've got 2 of these exactly the same. So I've made another one and cut my weaving wire off at both ends. So take your pliers and you want to grab right in the middle of all of the wires, but you don't want to bend the ring, just the wires that are there, the rest of the wires, and we're going to bend it into a V. I always grab the other side and then bend this side with your fingers as well, so you know it's even. And that V needs to be the same angle as the bottom of your stone. And if you're using a round stone here, then you don't have to bend this V. You can just bend it around the round end of the stone. So I want that to be the same angle, shape as the end of the stone. So I need to bend it a little bit more. Weather's changed, so it's gone all dark. So if I move to a flat surface, so the stone sits right snug into that V shape. Keeping it on a flat surface, hold the stone in place. I'm going to gently bend the wires up and around the stone. We don't want them to come flush at the top, we just want a gap at the top. So keeping the wires next to each other. Try and pick it up to show you. So I've wrapped them around the stone. We want a nice gap at the top there, but not too much, like that. Keeping the wires all next to each other so they don't cross over each other. And when you're happy with the shape, straighten the wires at the top so that they're going to sit next to each other. Like that. So it's got a start of our shape to our earring. And we need to take this little loop we made, we need to bend that down flat so it's coming flat off the bottom of the piece. Oops. So when you're happy with your shape, I'm happy with that shape now. Pop the stone back out. It's just a bit fiddly to hold it in there. Get your weaving wire. And making sure that your wires are still next to each other and they haven't all crossed over each other. Wrap around the whole thing about 5 times. And then take one of the back wires and wrap around that one about 3 times so it holds that in place. And then taking the tail end, wrap that around all 4 wires on the one side, about 3 times. I'm going to trim that weaving wire. Leave that weaving wire attached for now. Check again to make sure the stone fits nicely. So now we just need to make sure, we need to secure the stone so it doesn't keep popping out. So you need to pull the stone as far to the bottom as you can so it sits nicely against that bottom corner. And pull that back wire over just a little bit, just enough to get your pliers in. And the same on the other side. The stone is going to keep trying to jump out, so you just got to hold him in there for now. And then grab your pliers, just bend that wire in, that'll just hold it in place. And the same on this side. Oops. Just to hold it in place. Need to do the same for the front. Again, make sure the stone is right pushed down to the bottom there, and make a gap there for your pliers. I always grab the wire right at the bottom and then hold the top in place, so as it shapes it, you've still got a nice shape at the top, but it comes in nice enough to hold the stone, but it still looks pretty. And then grab this side, do the same on that side. Use my nails first, just so it gives you a bit more space to get the pliers in, because if you just go at it with your pliers, you end up making all sorts of tool marks on there. And when you've got a big enough space, grab hold of that wire, gently bend him in. Like that. And I'm going to pull these middle wires apart a little bit. So that's our stone held in place. Now you need to do exactly this on the other one. So I'm going to cut my weaving wire off so I can use this. So go back to the beginning of the video, make another one just like this, and I'll meet you here. So I've made 2 the same. And I'm going to take the front wires, just pull them out a little bit. Fan them out so I can see where they are and what wires I've got. And I've still got my white weaving wire attached to the second one I made. So So we're going to leave these two for now and pull them down a bit out the way. And we're going to weave on these two. So I'm going to move these over a little out the way. So starting with 3 wraps around the bottom of those 2 wires. And then 3 wraps around both wires. And that's going to be our repeat. We'll do 3 wraps around the bottom wire, 3 wraps around both wires, and we'll repeat that 12 times just along those 2 wires. So I've done 12 repeats. I'm going to put this weave over. Flatten it out a bit. Like that. And then I'm going to take the next wire I'm going to gently arc it around to follow that weave. So now it's sat in line with these two. And then I'm going to do the same with this last wire. Bend it around so that it follows the other shapes, but I want it to be slightly smaller, slightly lower, so it fits like that. Then I'm going to take my 3mm bead, bead won't actually fit on this square wire, so I've had to swap for a 4mm bead. I just wanted to sit in that little loop there, and then have that wire finishing to sit in a line with the others. Now I'm going to weave over all 4 wires. I'm going to go around the bottom 2, up between the bottom 2, around the next 2, and then back up between those bottom 2. Around the top 3, then around those 2 again, bringing the wire up underneath the bottom, then go around the bottom 2 wires. If you followed my other tutorials, you'll see that I like this little weave. I've not a clue what it's called. Then I'm going to wrap 5 times around the bottom wire. and then I'll do it again with you. So we go around the bottom 2, up between the bottom 2, around the next 2, and then back up between those bottom 2 wires again, around the top 3, back up between those bottom 2 wires again, around 2 wires, and then underneath the bottom wire, over the bottom 2 wires, and then back 5 times again around that bottom wire. And I like this weave because when it's done, it's not too much and it's not too little, and they look quite tidy like little trees. So we'll keep repeating this, and we want our weave to scoop around to meet the loop at the bottom. So you need to do as many repeats as it takes to get to there. So I've done 10 repeats of that little tree weave, and you have to keep pushing your weave together as you go to keep it tidy. So make sure you keep pushing it all together as you go. So now what I'm going to do is just gently bend that weave around at the bottom there. And I think 10 is just enough to get it to where we want it to be. So now what I'm going to do is I want 2 wires to go through the loop. So I'm going to lift it away a little bit, bend my wires, and get them in that loop. Like that, and then these 2, trim that weaving wire, and these 2 I'm going to pull down a little bit, bend them around the back there like that. So that's what we've got so far. So now my weaving wire is free. It's time to do this on the other one. We're working on the other one, so we're going to do everything in the opposite direction. I'll pull these 4 wires over, out the way. And with these 4, I'm pulling the first 2 over a little bit out the way. So we've got these 2 left as before, and this time I'm going to wrap 3 times around the top wire, and then 3 times around both wires. And that'll be our repeat. We need to do that 12 times. 3 times around this top wire and 3 times around both wires. So I've done my 12 repeats. Let's cut that tail end off. I'm going to bend this weave over as we did with the other one, only now we're doing everything in the other direction. Like that. Then I'm going to take the next wire, this one, curve that one around as we did with the other one, so it sits just next to the weave. Like that. Got myself in a bit of a knot here. And then this last wire, this is the one we're going to put the bead on. So you need to bend that one around, and it needs to be a little bit smaller and a little bit lower than the other one. Like that. Then we need to add a bead to that one. Like that. Now we're ready to start weaving over all 4 wires. So now I'm going to start weaving over all 4 wires, only now it's upside down. So I'm going to go, I've come up between the middle 2 wires. I'm going to go over the bottom, the top 2 wires, because we're all upside down now. Come up between those bottom 2 wires and go between the top 2 wires. If that makes sense. And pull it away from the stone a little bit. And then I'll come under this bottom wire. I'm going to go over the 3rd wire. Then I'll come up between the bottom 2 wires and go between those top 2 wires again, like that. And then I'll come up between the middle 2 wires, straight over the top and around that top wire. So that's our little tree weave upside down. Doesn't want to focus on that. And then five wraps around that top wire. So we'll do another repeat with you. So we need to come up between the middle 2 wires, straight over the top Then come up between the bottom 2 wires and go over the 3rd wire, and then come under the bottom wire and back over that 3rd wire, between the bottom 2 wires and over that 3rd wire again, and then up between the middle 2 wires and over the top, and then 5 wraps around that top wire. There we go. Our little tree repeat, so we need to do 10 repeats of that. So I've done 10 repeats of that little tree weave. And as before, we need to bend the weave around. It's so awkward doing it the other way. I think we can lose that weaving wire. So we need to gently curve the weave around. I can see another little tail there. That's the middle one. It's escaped a little bit. But the sun's coming out, the birds are singing. So that needs to follow around the weave, around the stone, like that. And the bottom 2 wires need to go through the ring and pull it away a little bit. Bend my wires through. And the 2 wires, oops, these 2 wires need to go around the top of the loop. Try and hold it in place. Bit of a wrestle these square wires are. So that's what I've got so far. Those 2 go through the loop, and then those 2 top wires go straight around the back. We've got the opposite of the other one. So now going back to these wires at the top, if you can hear me over that blackbird out there, push those 2 to the back, and we'll just have these 2 little at the front there. I'm going to bend those over. Like so. And I'm going to take the higher one, the one that's at the back of that one, put it part way down the stone. I'm going to do a little curl with my wire. that. And this one, just wanted to follow the wire. I'm going to have those coming over the stone a little bit, and then holding them in place the best you can, and take them around to the back like that. And we need to do this with the other one. So we'll leave the back 2 wires to the back for now. And the front 2 wires, I'm going to start to curve them over. Like so. You can do whatever you want with these wires once you've got the basic design down. You can just have a play around. You could add a little bead at the top there if you wanted to, the way we did in the donut tutorial. So now this outer wire, it gets part way down the stone, bend it around, I find when you're doing your curls, if you do it really slowly, you can kind of control where it's going to go and what it's going to do. So I'm hoping that's a mirror image of that one. There we go. I just thought the square wire would look quite nice with this sort of swirly design. So I'll have that coming over the stone a little bit, hold it in place, and then carefully bend the wire around to the back. So that's what you've got so far. Always mirror image of each other when you're doing earrings if you can. And take it slowly and always keep comparing them with each other so you end up with the same size and the same shapes. I'm going to now lose a few of these wires. I'm just going to finish this the way it is, but if you want to carry on, you can add weaves to these wires and curl them back around. You could then lead the weave back up a little bit or add more curls around the bottom. Or you could finish these wires off like I'm going to, and you could dangle a little bead from the loop on the bottom. So I'm going to start with the bottom 2 wires. I'm going to cut them quite short. Using my round nose pliers, I'm going to just wrap them back around that. Oops, sorry, thought you could see what I was doing. I'm just going to wrap these around back through there and then flatten them down so they're secure. Probably best to do one at a time. on these next two wires, I'm going to cut them quite short, and I'm going to just post them around the back of the loop there. I'm going to make a small gap so they'll fit. Just post the ends around there, and then flatten them with my pliers. So I'll cut them quite short. I'll bend them round one at a time. Just need a little part for them to wrap around. Whoops! Squeeze them in firmly once they're in there. And these two I don't think I could lose so easily. So I'm going to have to finish these two off. By pulling them down and attaching them to this weave here. So that's what I'll do. So they've come around the bottom there, and I'm pushing them against this weave, the back of the weave, and I'm going to curl this one down. And I'll curve this one around as well a bit further up. And I'm going to attach weaving wire and link them to the weave to hold them in place. So I've cut a small piece of weaving wire. I'll start with the bottom wire. I'll wrap it 3 times around the wire to attach it. And that's where I want it to sit. So I'm going to go around and through the weave. So I've gone through the top of the front of the weave, to sit behind, so I'm just pulling it down a little bit. I'll do that a few more times. So I'm just going between the outer 2 wires of the weave and then under the wire that I want to secure down. Keep pressing it flat, so you're definitely attaching it flat against that weave. And I'm going to go through and secure it 3 times, because that's quite a springy weave where it sits from this at the front there. then I'm going to go around the wire 3 times. So I've gone 3 times around the wire, 3 times around the edge of that weave, 3 times around my wire again, and that should hold it nicely in place. Cut my weaving wire, and we need to do that for the other one. Hold it all in place. And we need to attach that to that part of the weave there, so get it flat where you want it to sit first, and then attach it by wrapping it 3 times around the top wire of the weave and this back wire. Cut that tail off, and I shall secure that side. So I've secured the top one as well, so they're both secured down to that weave. Now I'm going to cut them quite short. And with round nose pliers, I'm going to curl them around. Oops, it's hard trying to grab onto the very tip. Right, happy with that. So now we need to do all that to this one. We need to lose all these wires at the bottom. Unless you wanted to carry on, then you need to copy what you did with the other one onto this one now in the reverse image. So I'm going to trim these 2 really short and wrap them around the loop. Then I'm going to make a gap at the back and trim these 2 off and post them down there. And then these 2, as we did before, I'm going to bring them round and curling them up against the weave like we did here. So we need to come up the weave and curl it around like that, and carry on, curl that one around, and then attach weaving wire and link those down tight to that weave. So it's all the same as this one. So I'm going to do all that to this one now. So I've just finished off the back on the other one. Three times around the wire, 3 times around the wire and the outer wire of the weave, and then 3 times around the single wire. Trim it off short and curl it around. The second one is a little bit tidier than the first one. So all we need to do now is finish off these 2 wires, and again feel free to have an experiment and do whatever you like with them. I'm just going to simply cut them short and curl them around. Trying to imagine how much I'll need. About that much, I think. And before I curl them, I'm going to do the other one so I can match the lengths of the wires. About that much, I think. I'm just going to curl those with round nose pliers. I always try and finish off all my wires and carry them on, and if I've got 2 left, I'll try and bring them in and add to the pattern. And I do find that I can overcomplicate things. So I've started trying to cut back and only have the wires that are necessary for the design. If you're going to make multiple ones of these, you could do something different each time. You've got all that extra wire to experiment with. Curl them up a bit tighter. That's better. And I forgot to mention we're going to need a little jump ring to be able to attach the ear wires to the top there. So whatever you've done with these 2 wires, if you've done the same as me, then we need to do the same with this one. So I've curled those wires the same as the other ones. All I need to do now is add jump rings and add ear wires. Might even be able to add your ear wires straight onto this little middle wire. So I've added my wires, my ear wires, to the middle wire there, the one behind the one with the bead, and I had to pull it away from the weave a little bit there so it would hang right. But that's gone on quite nicely. It's hard to hold them to show you. I'll use my pliers. So there we go. I've finished earrings. They'll look lovely when they're oxidised. My ear wires I always do with gold fill if I'm doing copper earrings, or I use sterling silver or argentium silver. Otherwise, So I hope you found this tutorial easy to follow. You've had fun making yours, and I'd love to see them. Come over to Facebook and share your finished earrings with me. That would be great. Thanks for all your lovely comments below and for all your support. And we're nearly at 5,000 subscribers, and I'll be doing another giveaway, and I'll be doing that on YouTube this time. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.